Hello guys! Mega881000 likes to bid you welcome to a kind of announcement and information video. I just want to inform you quick about that I have planned another part of my re-upload video series for next year. In this new part I will review you again, and above all in a much more detailed way than it was in the past, the complete figure series of the 8-inch tall Hybrid-Digivolving-Figures of Digimon Frontier. But more exactly, it will be the Japanese original versions with the better paint jobs, which I will approaching in this upcoming re-upload video series. And maybe another special figure series of Frontier. Let's see. Anyway, like I mentioned before, those figures you could see in all their possible evolution forms already in some of my first videos, but indeed only in a few pictures. In the new re-upload video series I will review one figure set or respectively one possible evolution form per video in a detailed way. For each figure evolution form there will be, as is usual, a self-created evolution scene. I will show you the whole content of each set, maybe in a kind of speeded up unpacking style. I will show you the build-up of the respective spirit and review the finished spirit short. After this I will show you the transformation into the respective Digimon and review the finished respective Digimon form. I will review the Japanese boxes, and conclusively you will hear additional to this my personal judgment about the respective Digimon form, evolution form and the whole set, and the respective spirit, and some further informations about and the compare between the Japanese and our versions as well. By the way, all the pictures I shot already, but the videos are still to create. And that you know about what I actually speaking there, I have some advanced informations and some general elucidations about this Hybrid-Digivolving-Figure series of Digimon Frontier for you now. For that we are going on a trip to the past once again. Besides the circa 5-inch tall Spirit Digivolving series, there were also those 8-inch tall Digivolving figures. Certainly, this were the Japanese interpretation of our 5-inch tall Spirit Digivolving figures, which in turn they don't had in Japan. Each of those sets consists of a kind of pretty much pose-able human basic figure and the Digimon parts, which you attach on the basic figure to transform it in the respective Digimon form. Out of this you can also create the respective spirit of each set under support of another spirit body and the Digimon parts. Out of this came each set with a kind of base for the spirit. So in Japan they only had those 8-inch tall figures with this attaching armor gimmick as transforming figures to Frontier, which remembering me strongly on those Armored Joshinka series figures of Adventure 02. Their original Japanese name is Spirit Evolution Series. Of course, the armor parts of all of these figures are not carved out this delicate and exact like by figures of today, because of the technical possibilities of back then. You have to keep in mind that those figures were released in 2002 in Japan. Anyway, and because you should not compare them with today's figures and judge those accordingly as what they should be and for what they are made for. Of course, today they have high prices because they are old and are about to getting more rare and hard to find. And because of their rareness, there are a kind of certain value today for them, and so you can count them as kind of collector's figures now. Two of those Japanese figures, Kaiser Greymon and Magna Garurumon, are counting among collectors as those Holy Grail figures anyway. But the topic I will elucidate more exactly in their videos. And even our less painted versions of the other ones also getting offered to very high prices today. But originally they all were the Japanese transforming figures to Digimon Frontier, made for kids, and so they were sold to normal prices in the past too. The Japanese original series included altogether 6 of such figure sets, and those were Agnimon, Whitramon, Wolfmon, Garmon, and of course the 2 mentioned before Holy Grail figure sets of Kaiser Greymon and Magna Garurumon. Out of the first 4 before mentioned sets, which are respectively belonging together, you can create 2 further evolution forms by combining the parts of the 2 cohesive sets. Out of Kaiser Greymon set and Magna Garurumon set, you can create 1 further evolution form, which is of course the ultimate Susanomon. Bandai America imported their molds, and so the figure series came to us. They repackaged them in, for our areas, typical unified design blister boxes. Through that they also came to Europe, and the figure series was sold under the name of Hybrid-Digivolving-Figures. Certainly the figures of course were sold in a more simplified and cheaper design in our areas. Through that they had a much more matte finish, less painted apps, and also the base of the plastic for the parts and armor parts was also produced of less quality and less shiny plastic. And of course also Kaiser Greymon and Magna Garurumon never were released by us. For our versions they also produced additional parts which were not part of the original Japanese versions, to be able to portray the children of Takuya and Co. too. Those character shells of the kids were similar, designed like the armor parts themselves, and you can attach those character shells onto the thin human basic figures instead of the Digimon armor parts. Like I said, to be able to represent also the children's form. Certainly, I now have to say something non-objective about this. Well, I personally had more wished for the wonderful, more qualitative Japanese design instead of the additional produced character shells of the kids. Because first, their frame is a way too bulky, and second, the parts for Takuya and Co. are also much too big compared to the much smaller armor parts for the Digimon form. Because if I remembering right, were those figures also quite expensive by us, and to be honest, I couldn't really imagine something about those figures at all. I mean with that, what those figures actually are and should constitute. And above all, through the bad paint job of all the parts, those figures don't arouse any interest by me to want them. Out of that, I believe to remember that they only had Takuya's human and beast spirit figures here in my local German shops. So there was only Ankündigungsvideo and Burning Greymon and maybe Lobomon, but I'm quite sure that I don't see Kendo Garurumon, Loimon and Kaiser Leomon here in my local area. And that's also not surprising that I never seen Loimon and Kaiser Leomon here, because I read later on an information site that those two were Bandai America only releases, and therefore those were also only sold there. Again, if they had sold them here in the same way like in Japan, and additionally to that, in boxes in a similar design to the Japanese ones, they had definitively aroused my interest, because on those Japanese boxes they pictured everything very well and understandable what those figures are should be, and the design of each single Japanese box is a little eye-catcher, just typical Japanese. Of course, I did experience that all much more later, thanks to the internet and YouTube reviewers, how great the Japanese versions of those figure series are. Known through images for what I must watch out at eBay. That also counts, by the way, also for all figures which else I never would have gotten. When I started with that back in 2008, I found step by step over the years 2008 until 2009, until over the years 2008 until 2009, almost all what I was searching for and wanted to get, including those Japanese Spirit Evolution figure series, to more or less reasonable lower prices than they were offered now. But those Japanese Spirit Evolution figures were also offered already to quite higher prices back then. After I got almost all I wanted, I decided to start this YouTube channel to show the world and the people what you are able to get and circulate informations about. So like I said before, all those figures you could see already in my first YouTube videos, certainly with very less images, which hardly could show of the whole awesomeness of this Japanese Spirit Evolution figure series, because of too less screen time for each single figure and each further possible evolution form of them. Therefore, it was finally about time to pay homage to the Spirit Evolution figure series by dedicating the third part of my re-upload video series to give all those figures the screen time that they also deserving to get. I hope that you liked this announcement video a bit at least, and that you are not disappointed because you maybe expected something else because of the video thumbnail. But I also explained it at the beginning what this video is about, and I decided to do this in this way that I don't have to put all those general informations about this figure series in the first main video too. Because I think that this would be too long and too uninteresting. I think that this is the better way, so please be a bit more patient until the real re-upload video series part 3 starts. I don't give no definite date for this on purpose now. When the exactly time would be, just take potluck. But for sure I can say that I will dedicate the first video to the Japanese Spirit Evolution series Ankündigungsvideo set. At this point, I also want to make a big thanks shout out to all of my long time and also to all of my new subscribers for your interest about my channel, whereby I don't earn anything with it. But of course, so the more I appreciating your interest about my channel pretty much. So thank you all, and with this we are also at the end of this kind of announcement and information video. Thank you for your attention and interest. I saying bye, and until the main video series, your Mega 88 1000.